Hello everybody, it's Max Farrow again with Dex Trader, and today is September 11th. Here at Dex Trader, we're doing a daily evaluation of the trades that came over. So we're looking at, there are two major pairs with the USD quote, USD JPY and USD CHF. So I'm going to see which one's better. The 96.7 is a little bit better, but I want to kind of look at where we are as far as price goes. In trading the dailies, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to figure out, which one do I get? You don't go after every single one because you're going to end up sitting in a box and you wouldn't do two of the same. So I might look at which one of the USD JPY or USD CHF I'll get into, and then the Great Britain Pound JPY or the Euro USD, or maybe three trades at the moment. So I'm going to go look right now. So first off, we're going to look at the USD JPY and see where we're at with price. Let me hit refresh. I'm using my demo account right now because I don't like to use, I have some other trades going on my live account right now, and there's quite a few of them. So I don't want you to get confused and overwhelmed with that. So I'm starting with a fresh look here. It's for the 1500 period, so 3 p.m. USD JPY, because we were looking at 108.60 on the buy. 108.60 on the buy, and there we are at $99. Even if we try to choke up to bring it up to 108.80, it looks like we may still not get there. So let me look at the USD CHF to see where we're at, 3 p.m. And on that one, we were at, on a buy, 95.20. And 95.20 on the buy, if we did a choke up, we would be up here, which would be 95.40. That would be out of the money. So what I'm going to do, and I don't really like that when that happens on the USD CHF, especially at the end of the day. It's 3 p.m. is the last one for all the other pairs dying on that on the intradays at 3 p.m. So I'm going to look at this one to see if this is something I want to look at. It can it raise up past that? And what I do is that I isolate the pair itself, the USD CHF, okay, and I'm doing it on the buy side. And I look to see, has it been 20 pips or more on an average on the buy. 20 pips, 20 pips, 20 pips. There's one that's not. There's one that's barely not. There's three that's not. So 3 out of 20. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 3 that have not been. And not one is at 15 at 1500, which is 3 o'clock. So that's pretty good on the ratio. Now, you could do an out-of-the-money trade at the moment because we're dealing with this process of, can it move more than the 20 pips? And if it's below that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a buy in just right at market value, okay? Because I'm in at $43. That means that I'm going to get, okay, because remember, I'm buying this for $43. It's out of the money. If I win, that's a $57, $56.75 win. Then after fees, you take $2 off. So that's a possibility. That's a great opportunity. This is an out of the money purchase at this point on a choke up. Now, can it fail? Absolutely. But I have a pretty good feeling for this 4 pip for this next 2 hours and 30 minutes. We have a great opportunity for this to go to. And how do I verify that as well? Is that I'm going to go to the USD CHF and I'm going to look at this. We got a little bit of a crossover happening at this process, right? We are in, where are we at with the trend? We're on a buy trend, higher highs, higher lows. Okay, we're in a little counter trend happening right here, and I think this is where it's going to kind of take off from that point. There's no news releasing during the next hour or two to be able to force that into an opposite direction. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to flow with that process right there, just like that, and have that. That's my one, right? That's my, I won't say holy grail or Hail Mary, as you say, but this is something that I'm going to be looking at, right? All right, so now let's look at the other two real quick. Because remember, I saved some money on that one. I'm not buying it for $80 profit or $80 in the risk. I'm buying it for $43 in the risk. So I could basically do another trade and not have a problem. Let me go ahead and reload the page here for the pairs. Take a drink of coffee. My dog's yelling at me to take her out. Now let's look at the Great Britain Pound JPY sitting at 95%. In fact, let's look at the Euro USD first to see the same thing. Euro USD, 3 p.m. And we were at where we need to be on a sell. Now this is good because it's a USD quote on the other side, so on the quote side on a sell. So this gives us a little bit of correlation between the two, that the USD JPY is going up and the Euro USD is going down. So let's see, 1.2000. That's a heavy number right there, right? So we're looking for on the sell. Now, if we come up a pair to 1980, are we in any action? And the answer is no. And I don't think we get into any actions till we get the 40 pips into that. So I'm not really looking to do that one. I don't really like putting working orders on choke ups. If I have to, I will. I only like choking up when there's actually money on it. Okay, so let's go back and look at the other one, the Great Britain Pound JPY. Great Britain Pound JPY. There we are, 3 p.m. And the same thing again on the buy. Now this is good too because we got correlation between the USD JPY and the Great Britain Pound JPY. They're both buys, so that's good news. 143.40 on the buy. 143.40 on the buy. Now if we come up one to a choke, there is money on it, but not as much as we want. I like to keep it $20 or more in profit margin if I'm going to be risking that process. And I don't want to choke up to another one because there's just not enough information to that. So basically, I have done what I needed to do, and I've looked at the process. So 130.40 is where the signal is at. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put a working order on for that one. But when I do this one, because it's on the buy, I want to make sure that I'm getting at least $22 of profit. So I'm going to put it in for $78. And in fact, on this one, I'm going to put it for 75. It's going to have to get pretty close to that for it to trigger. Okay, so that's basically it. On the USD CHF, I'm going to go back to it and see if it has had any movement just yet. Let me get to the 3 p.m. And we're looking at 95.40, 95.40. There it is right there. It's dropped down quite a bit now. I'm going to put one more on. And it says limit order, but I'm going to do market order right now and just place my order in. And there we go. I'm on for 2 now. And again, I'm pushing it. It's just pretty far. But I want you to see at this point that this is a great opportunity, that the information is where it's at. Remember how I did that? USD JP or USD CHF. I isolated the direction as well on the buy. And there we go. It has a high rate of over 20 pips for the process. We got in a pretty good amount, and I think we stand to make a pretty good choice here. Any of the 1500s have been well above 20 pips. As you see, 67 pips, 37 pips. You can isolate the time frame as well, just by doing something like that. Okay, and you see 1500 right there. That's the one that's just released. 1549 pips. So being able to isolate the information is powerful because it gives you a lot of data that you can work. Now, will it make it absolute? No, but we have a great opportunity for this out of the money trade. All right, I'll come back in a couple of hours and we'll validate, see how well it did, and see if we got picked up on our Great Britain Pound JPY. If not, even if I lose this trade, that's okay. I'm into it for 80 for what the trade was, but if I have the opportunity to win, I'm in now for $120. So I risked 80 to win 120. That's a 2-to-1 process there, almost. So I'll see you soon. Hey everybody, it's Max Farrell from Dex Trader, and we're here on the NA intradays. And boy, did we just have a blowout on the USD JPYs. All the JPYs had a blowout the last couple of hours. You know, and perspective news, a whole bunch of things happening. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that if you're going to be looking at the signals on the intradays, what you're looking for is movement with the trend. Okay, all of the losses that happen, not every single one, but the majority of them, the large majority, 80 to 90% of the losses that happen because of on any intradays is because the signal has been tricked to feel and to move on a counter trend, right? So what a counter trend is very simple. And let me see if I can get my drawing pen here out and so I can show you real quick. If the market, let me pop over to let's see, screen draw, let me do that. Let me get into a chart here so you can kind of see what it looks like. If the trend is always about the direction, right? And so what we're talking about, let me see if I can get my screen. Come on, there we go. Is that a trend is, of course, on lower lows. Ooh, got the wrong one, sorry. Okay. Lower lows and lower highs, right? This is considered a trend, right? We're going low. It's a sell trend, right? It's a sell trend, or what we refer to as a bearish trend, right? Okay. And once we spot this, now each one of these that comes back up just a little bit and comes back down, this is referred to as a counter trend move, right? Trend, overall trend, counter trend, right? And what you do is that you look at the basis of a chart on, you know, this is considered a little bit of an uptrend that's happening here, right? And then it sort of passes out just a little bit, just kind of stays stagnant there for a little bit, doesn't really go up and down too much, but then starts to head down, right? As soon as you get a breakage of this point right here, it starts that lower trend that starts to happen, that sell trend. So we look at what the trend is prior to when the signal first comes out. We're looking to see which one is at a trend. So I look at the two trades, USD, or two signals, USD CAD and AUD USD. Let me go to the USD CAD first. What I'm looking at now is that there is a little bit of on a standard chart here. This is a high. This is a high. It looks like this is almost like a double top, if you will, and I don't want to get too much into that. But over the last several bars, we look like we're coming back down into this trend, right? We're hitting in a sell trend. And because that we're in that bearish trend right now, we're on a buy signal, right? What happened? Well, there was a lot of movement that happened. Okay. You had this crossover. You had this crossover happen a couple of hours ago, and it sort of said, okay, we're in a buy trend, yay. And it pierced the level, right? Because these are range trades. And this range breakout trade signified on the USD CAD, it's in a buy. So sometimes a single bar can trigger a process to happen. So on the AUD USD, we have a longer term trend that's happening and a low trend happening, a sell trend, a bearish trend happening. And so this is the one that I'm going to look at to go with. So I'm going to pop over to Nadex. I already have a trade happening, an OTM trade that was happening, bought in for really good money. And I'm going to go with the AUD USD. I'm going to go for, because that was for a signal for 3 o'clock. I'm going to do the 1 to 3 p.m. The signal called out for 8035 for a sell. 8035 for a sell. 8034 is there. That's pretty good. Within 1 pip, I'm okay with that. And I'm going to put on for my market price right now, market order, and place order. And there it is. And that's what I'm going to wait on. 9537, 943. Yeah, so I'm pretty good. There's a couple of pips down from that point. All right. So, or 8031. All right. Yeah. So I'm about 3 pips. So I'm happy with that. And I'm going to let that sit and gel. And we got about 54 minutes before the AUD USD, which is intraday, and this daily finishes off. All happen to be at 3 o'clock. And we'll see how it goes. I'll come back in at the end there to kind of show you what's happened. And hopefully you'll see some success on both sides of it. But I just wanted you to see how I trade. This is me trading throughout the day. I wanted you to be able to see how it all goes. All right. I'm Max Farrell. This is Dex. We'll see you in a minute. Okay. So we're back here. It's right around the top of the hour, about close to 3 o'clock for the expiry for both of these pairs. Now, one has been floating with the process of going back and forth. Again, I'm hoping that you're seeing this as when you set these trades, you got to kind of have faith in the data and the faith in the process. If not, you'll drive yourself crazy. So we got about 5 minutes left. Our one pair of the OTM trade, if you will, has been playing on that line for a little bit, as well as the other one has been playing a little bit at that line. Because of how the trades are respondent to trend and to the market, sometimes Nadex has, because of the indicative price, has a little floating feel to it, right? So the other two trades never came on, but I don't bother releasing those. We're only 0.2 of a pip, or if they're indicative index into the trade, so ITM on this. So I really am just hoping that it'll keep above that line. But I'm going to come back. I'm going to pause the video again. I just wanted to kind of show you that it was above the line for a little bit. And let's see what happens from this point on. And I'll come back down in the last minute and we'll sweat it together. All right. I'm Max and we'll see you in a second. Okay, so we got about 2 minutes left here. And I want you to sit and sweat it with me. I want you to see this 2 minutes and how it plays in the last 2 minutes. Now, this is an OTM trade, which meant we got it out of the money. The other one is an NA intraday that we got with the trend. Now, it's only 0.7 of a pip in the money, so you just lost. Okay, so there we go. It's now heading north like it's supposed to and doing its thing in the last couple of minutes. It's been floating around that 95.40 mark for the longest time. I normally would take something like this and just take the money from it right now. You know, if that sense of, you know, loss of only 1 pip, but here shortly it's not gonna allow me to take any money out of it at all. I think we're pretty solid here that it's gonna stay in that north range, while the AUD USD is gonna stay below the 80.34 and allow us to win both of these trades. This isn't really about exact science because there's a little bit of the market movement that you have to kind of consider. And there's a lot of variables and a lot of moving parts to that process. But when it works sweet. When it doesn't, it lets you know, and it really does. But the data is the most important thing. When you have this opportunity to take this type of trade, you take it. And because you have such great opportunity with this trade, we're gonna make right around $100 or $100+ $125 or something like that in the process. So pretty excited that everything kind of came through. Now again, I walked away from, I made the trade. I came back a few times to have a look, just to kind of look to see where it was at. But the data is what really sparked this process. And now there we go, the last 30 seconds here. Can't do anything now, even if it does go to lose, then so be it. But that's where it's at. But we're sitting at 94.43. I don't think in the last 17 seconds it's going to drop down that far because there's no news, there's no nothing. So we're just going to kind of sit here and wait for this last 10. And I really do appreciate you watching this entire video with me. Maybe you zip to the end, who knows? All right, but there we go. That is a daily signal with an OTM process. And you've seen in the beginning of the video on how I surmised how to get to that. And an NA intraday with the trend, only going with the trend signals at that point, and how well we did and what we had to do. All right. Not too bad. We had two trades on there for, I think, around $56 profit. And those were OTM trades, so pretty powerful. And then we also had an NA intraday for $32 of profit. So right around $140 profit made in that 2.5 hours, just with one contract each. And of course, whether or not it's demo or not at this level, that is the practice on how we do it. I don't want to show you what our corporate accounts are on how we trade those, because it's important for you to know that we use the same kind of model there as well. All right, I'm Max Farrow. This is Dex Trader, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you please subscribe to the channel and come over and join us if you haven't joined into our network, if you haven't thought about trading the dailies. I want you to meet with us. We have several different series that you can check out on webinar and back archives and all that once you're on board. And I hope to see you inside. I'm Max Farrow. This is Dex Trader. And as always, trade well.